Then we're going to announce that we're in compliance with the open meeting law.
Yes, we are.
All right, and we will take roll.
Sharon Heiss.
Here.
Member Henry.
Here.
Member Vander. Sorry. Member Ovalander.
Here.
Member Bates.
Here.
Thank you. And we have a form.
Perfect, thank you. All right, item 3, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, please give your name for the record, the amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed and may be limited to. All right, Don, how do I pronounce your last name?
Beeson.
Beeson. This is the time that what you wanted in the email, if you could present to the board, because we have to handle it under item 11, but go ahead.
Oh, certainly. My name is Don Beeson. My friends call me Donnie.
Come on up here.
Yes,
Excuse me.
I apologize.
Certainly, certainly. My name is Don Beeson. My friends call me Donnie. This is my wife, Deborah, and we are with Ward 6. Councilman Ross's office reached out to me over the last few weeks during a separate inquiry that I had with their office, and after some discussion with a lady named Christina, and I'm not pronouncing it, Kramer, I believe Christina Kramer, she says, "Are you over 50? I said, "Well, yes, I am." She says, "There might be a board that you'd like to serve upon." I met Councilman Ross last week at another event. We got introduced. Mary Ellen called while my wife and I are out looking at the beautiful vistas at Lake Mead, which we do quite often. And I am here to be considered for being part of this board.
And you want to know about some of the responsibilities. I'm going by what you put.
Absolutely.
And we can do that under item 11, because that's when we talk about board business, but I want to state it for the record what you wanted to do. Go ahead, Val.
Well, I was just going to say maybe under item 13.
Oh, okay, if you want to hold it to then.
Yeah, because this item number 3 is supposed to be about things that are on the agenda.
Item 11. Item 11 says the board agenda.
Item 3 is for items, for public comment on items that are on the agenda. Item 13 is public comment on items that are not on the agenda.
Gotcha. Okay.
That'd be fine. Thank you.
All right.
I can certainly wait. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Item 4, for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular meeting of March 3rd, 2016.
I move we accept and approve the minutes from March 3rd.
Okay, so moved. Do we need a second?
No, second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstained? All right, so moved. Thank you. All right, item 5. Update regarding the logistics of the upcoming Inspired Not Retired Expo event scheduled for Thursday, September 15, 2016. We went to an event in Ward 1 and got some ideas. I would like the people that were there to talk about some of the things that we're going to be looking at to do with the Inspired, so we can talk about the logistics, including the setup and some of the vendors that you spoke with. So we will go with it from there.
Well, one of the key things was transportation. We talked with, because it wasn't as well attended as it could have been for all the work that was put into it. We talked about our event also, possibly really, I know we've done some work on transportation already, but maybe we could research other areas and how we can get people to the retired our event. Yes.
Okay, Don followed up with that with the Lone Star Community Office. Did you get a report on that?
Well, it's good to fly in my ward, Ward 1 with Mr. Arcadian. However, the game plan was, or the bigger picture was, that dealing with buses picking up at the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authorities, I planned like 2 from Ward 1. There's 2 of them in Ricky Barlow's ward, Ada Brents and Carrie Reed McDowell's, and then there's two of them in Carmen Bates' ward. So if we got 3 RTC buses, they can make a swing around, limit the time and coordinate it, and it'll generate probably 150 plus or minus people. So my suggestion was, like I said, it'll work in my ward, simply because Ms. Garkey is on the RTC board, but I would suggest that Carmen contact her councilman, and we'll have to, I could probably do it in Joanne Oscar's ward, Rudy Barrow's ward. I could probably fill in and talk to his office. Or
Right. Yeah, talk to Joe, right.
So that's where the transportation kind of stands.
So have you talked to Coughlin about this?
I have not.
Okay. Okay, so who's going to coordinate this? So the meeting for May, we need to know if the buses are solidified.
Okay.
Who's going to coordinate it?
Well, I will talk to Councilman Coughlin.
Okay?
And who else? Maybe the other, the absent ones?
No, that's fine, as long as you take care of it. Are you going to coordinate this then with Councilwoman Tarkanian since she's on the RTC board?
Yeah, but I think that it has to be run past the councilman in Barlow in that board.
Right, and I talked to
So,
Joe,
okay.
and Joe said that he's on board, so.
I can't step out of the ward and,
Right.
that's why it's a contact thing.
Well, the only reason I want to make sure is that Councilwoman Tarkanian has talked to Tina Quigley, as she said she's going to do. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same venue for that. Okay, all right.
At this, Member Bates, at this, there was a lot of interesting vendors there that we could use at our Inspired Not Retired event. But if anything makes the case for these individual workshops versus the Inspired Not Retired, the lack of attendance did, through no fault of their own.
Correct, it was
Yeah,
very
through
well
no fault.
executed.
Yes, it was. I like the way it was set up, and the speakers and everybody that was chosen to be there inspired me. So I can't wait for our event in September, so.
And some of those same folks were at ours, and obviously, because we had over 25, and we will have to look at the parameters to see how many more we can actually take, because we have to have a cutoff point. So yes.
Member Vanden. Dawn, could you possibly get us a list of all the vendors that were there and their contact numbers in case, would that be possible out of Lois's office?
Oh, yeah, I thought you had something, I'll get it from.
Because that way we could review
And cross-reference with the other ones who were getting.
that we already have, because it was excellent.
One thing for clarification, this Safety Senior Spree that was put on by Board 1 Canyon, we used to call those workshops, and then we're putting on a big Inspired Not Retired, but still some council people feel that they still want to do the smaller venues in their own ward. And this was really well done, and I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys coming here. I mean, that's support, and that's working together and doing things together, and I hope you walk away with some little bit of knowledge, and the food, I'll say thank you. You were forced to be here. That's
All
where I was
right,
me.
I abide by it. That's great, it was a great event, very well planned. All right, okay. What else on the workshop? Anything else?
A workshop, or are we under?
I apologize, Inspired Not Retired event.
Okay.
I apologize. On September 15th. Anything else we need? Okay. Item 5.
Vandiver, just to tell you publicly, I've told you this personally, Mary Ellen, but I know you, the major portion of it falls on you, and I'll be glad to go with you and do anything you need as a partner in putting this on. I was not well last year, so I wasn't able to. I'd be glad to do it.
All right, great.
Support
Thank
you
you.
this year.
Thank you. Perfect. All right, item 6. Report by Leonard Dixon, Grant Program Coordinator, Office of Community Services, and discussion for possible action regarding grant availability and the application process.
I'm Marty Toledo, Board Liaison. If I may, I'm going to stand in for Leonard. He's actually at a training seminar up in Reno. And forgive me, I wasn't here last month as well. But I'm looking at his notes, and he said check for eligibility for CDBG grants at next meeting. So what I'd like to do is kind of give you an overview of the grants that we have within the Office of Community Services. And I can speak to this. I supervise actually Leonard and that group of folks. I'll give you a brief overview. The federal, what we call entitlement grants, predominantly come from Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and those are Community Development Block Grant. The acronym we use is CDBG for that. Another federal entitlement grant is Home Investment Partnership Program. We call that HOME. ESG, which is Emergency Solutions Grant, that's another federal grant. That goes to homelessness primarily. And then there's a couple of general revenue grants, which are city revenue, which are Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program. We deal in acronyms all the time, YNAP. Another general revenue, NPF, which is Neighborhood Partners Fund. The one that the federal grants, as a general rule and requirement, you must be a 501c3, IRS designation. And as to the board being eligible for those, I don't think you would be because of the 501c3 designation, and as well as what those go to. CDBG, you have to benefit low to moderate income people within an eligible census tract, and it goes to direct client services, construction projects, things of that sort.
Well, my question there would be, since seniors would fall in that category, we certainly would have services for those people.
We do under the actual CDBG allocation process, and that'll be coming up, I think, City Council on, I want to say May 4th, when we have our overall allocation of all federal. But there is actually within what's considered the CDBG public service portion, where we have an area of senior nonprofits, 501c3s, that come in and actually request funding through an application process. And then it's vetted by the Community Development Recommending Board through a series of meetings. And then those recommendations are sent up to the City Council for approval and ratification. And that's CDBG. That's the area that addresses senior services. Under the federal home program, Reinvestment Partnership, that money has been used to build, I don't know if you're aware of Nevada Hand and Mike Mullen, the senior living apartments. We put money into those type of projects. Home reinvestment is mainly what we call the bricks and sticks money. It goes toward the construction of, and there's also monies that have been designated towards senior housing as well. Another example is the McKnight Village over on Bonanza that caters to seniors as well. And we've also partnered, I don't know if you've been out in the, I guess, somewhat northwest along Summerlin Parkway, two nice, very nice facilities, Silver Sky 1 and 2. Very, very nice senior subsidized type facilities, income qualifying as well. Because everything that we do when it touches and concerns federal monies is an income qualifying nature. There's a lot of it's federal regulatory parameters that we have to adhere to. The ESG, that goes where the federal money is utilized toward homeless, to where folks come in and request shelter services, such as Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, Help of Southern Nevada, Lutheran Social Services. That money predominantly goes toward homeless services. And of course, seniors are always included within that, as long as they're homeless and in need of services. The one that I think, and maybe possibly the two that I'd like to investigate further for you, is the Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program. That is a general revenue program, so the restrictions are a lot more broad, but yet that would be where conceivably I could see the board, if you wanted to, you would have to partner with a youth group in a designated, any ward within the jurisdictional boundaries of the city. The main requirement is having a project and then having volunteer in-kind matching hours and you will have to present before a board. But the main thrust is that there is youth and neighborhood involved. So that could conceivably go in any ward, provided somebody wanted to take the helm and get together with a youth group and create a partnership. And then the NPF board, which is a Neighborhood Partners Fund board, that is another general revenue, and that can run the similar gamut as YNAP, but it's more neighborhood-based. And I can see the board conceivably, if you wanted to look at that closer, to literally within one of the wards, within a neighborhood that maybe is in dire need of something, that you could partner with that neighborhood and present a proposal. And there's a whole vetting process as far as an application, and that goes before a board as well. With YNAP, those awards, I believe, are limited to, I want to say $1,000 per. We always have at least a 2 or 3 to 1 request versus funds available. That program, I believe, is $25,000 total that they can allocate under their board. NPF is $50,000, and I think those projects can go up to $5,000 per project as well. So I think it's more feasible if the board were to consider looking into the Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program or the Neighborhood Partners Fund, because it would be, and I don't even know as an advisory board if you could even get that 501c3 status, since you're under the city council and things of that sort. But it would be a lot cleaner under YNAP and NPF, and the federal entitlements, I don't think there's really the qualifying feature that the senior board has. Please.
Judy Vanderbilt. Marty, could you give maybe 1 or 2 examples of a project that would be appropriate under either one of those that you suggested?
Sure. Youth Neighborhood Partnership Program.
Mm-hmm.
There have been youth who have came in and they have done a senior prom at, I think, Charleston Heights. At one time, they did a project over there.
That's in Ward 1.
Yes, just as, as an example of a
Right.
project. Under NPF, a lot of those projects tie themselves to safety and or even monument signs. I think John S. Park in the downtown area requested a monument sign through the NPF, just to kind of designate their historic neighborhood. So there's certain program parameters, and I can get that for the board easily and have it for you next meeting if you want to look further, because NPF, I know we have a brochure that kind of sets out the parameters, and YNAP pretty much the same. And unfortunately, YNAP was just concluded recently because our fiscal year starts July 1, and NPF is almost at its conclusion point. I think the applications are due April 18th, but you would already have to affiliate with a registered neighborhood association.
Right, so we're past that deadline.
You're not past, but it would be really
Well, yeah,
difficult
that's impossible
to do it.
that within the next week. So
And-
what other board would we be eligible from? When's that deadline?
For the NPF is the only open deadline still until April 18th
That's it.
Yeah.
So we're out of luck for this year.
for this cycle, yeah. But it'll start opening up as to YNAP. Trying to remember off the cuff. Probably next August, thereabouts. September in that area.
So August, September is the next opening for that one.
For the youth neighborhood, and then NPF runs a little bit later than that.
Okay. All right, then what we'll need to look at for the next meeting is the application
Mhm.
for that August deadline. So the board can all do that.
Under both programs, the NPF and the
Do you
YNAP.
want both? Even if it is-
Just so you know what the.
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
So we need both of those application processes and the whole, whatever we need to know about it to move forward, we'll need that information presented at the next board.
Okay. Will do.
Is there, Judy Vanderbilt, Marty, is there a list of maybe projects that have been done in the past?
Yes. Mhm.
Would it be difficult for you to give us the list? And
Not
that
at all.
would give us an idea of direction to go in.
What I'll do is I'll actually get the recent YNAP council agenda, and that'll show everything that was allocated.
Great.
And the groups. Okay. And then once the MPF goes up for ratification for the council, then I'll give you. And that one, I'll have to check and see when that's going to council. And I can also, well, no, that won't. May 4th, and then the next week, well, yeah, May 4th, I should be able to get you, just for sake of information, all of the federal allocations too, because that'll be on the agenda. Be able to pull that from council.
The ideas for what I want.
Right.
And then we can spring from there.
Okay. Will do.
Okay. All right, so we got that from the May agenda. Okay. All right. Item 7, update by Martin Toledo, Board Liaison, Office of Community Services regarding the status of the board stationery request.
Director Harson, I'm glad to say will be coming back part-time next week.
Next week, okay.
So I'm going to present this again to him because it's kind of been in a holding pattern for you, unfortunately. And I should have an answer for you on that by the May meeting as well.
Madam Chair, are we holding that on abeyance, or you want to just
Are you talking about item number
number
7.
7.
7?
07?
Well, we're going to discuss it, and he'll have a report,
Oh,
so
Yeah, I'll be able to report on the
Oh, I'm
status.
sorry, okay, sorry.
that's okay.
Misunderstood.
That's all right, no problem. So the report will be for the May meeting.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Item 9, report by Ronnie Fuller, Principal Community Program Specialist, Department of Parks Recreation, regarding senior center activities.
Mary Ellen?
Yes.
Item 8.
That's it. It is 8.
I'm sorry.
You missed item 8, I think.
Oh, I missed A. All right, item 8, report, sorry, Marty Toledo, Office of Community Services regarding the senior citizen outreach efforts of the Office of Community Services.
I think the last meeting I was here, I was giving you the status on the Depending on You campaign. That's pretty much been wound down, and we're going to look at that again.
So what do you mean wound down?
I picked up the collection boxes from the
Okay.
senior centers
So it's disbanded?
for now, and then we had talked previously about looking at reinstituting that toward the holiday time. Folks seem to be more giving.
So possibly during the holidays it'll come
Mhm.
back?
Mhm.
All right.
And then there's an event on April 18th at the Salvation Army with regard to homeless resources. I know that 3 of us were able to go on the tour, so I wanted to bring that to your attention too. It's just a general homeless resource fair. In fact, you wanted to attend to see how they were addressing that since you've been on the tour. Actually putting that into operational effect and through the Salvation Army, and there's a whole host of
Did
providers.
you have time on that?
I believe it's from 9 to 4, but what I was going to do is electronically forward you the flyer that I have. That-
On the 18th, which is a Monday.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
Marty?
Yes, sir.
Down Overlander. For a second, getting back to the boxes, it's discontinued until the holidays, you said?
Yes.
Is there any way we could jumpstart that and just have the boxes with a sign saying coming soon at the expo? Or it'll be restarted in a month or 2?
Yeah, we could create a flyer or,
I mean, you're gonna have people there, I imagine,
Yeah.
the exposure might help.
and we could even, it's up to you, maybe even have a couple of collection boxes there if folks
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah, we had them last time and nobody,
You get the idea.
nobody gave.
Right.
Yeah, they were using them
Idea
for trash cans.
Yeah, they
if I
use them for
remember.
trash cans, so I need to be real clear, if we're gonna have something like that, I want it used for the purposes of what we're doing and not for trash.
Okay. But yeah, of course, I think we can.
Okay? All right. Anything else?
And then I forwarded you electronically chair the different little events that have been going on.
All right, do you want those passed out now?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
no problem.
And just when stuff comes across my desk, I try as quickly as possible so that I don't forget to actually send those to Mary Ellen so that she can electronically get those out there to you guys.
Do we have more? Anybody over there? Sorry about that.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay. So, you guys like that?
Certainly, thank you.
And then I also wanted to bring to your attention
I'm sorry, I
on,
didn't hear you. What did you guys have something to say?
No.
Okay, go ahead, Marty, what were you
okay,
saying?
if I may bring to your attention also, there's we're having what's called a design charrette, kind of an architectural event, nonprofit, private, in UNLV School of Architecture on April 13th at the 5th Street School, and this is looking at the possible redesign of Four Master. So those of you that went on the tour, you know how Four Master is now and how folks are literally living on the street. They're looking, this is going to be the third design charrette to where they want to actually come out of that charrette with renderings that they could possibly bring up to the city council for physically redesigning that street for the homeless folks out there. I didn't know if that would be of interest to you since you had been on the tour, but I wanted to bring that up as well.
And what time is that at?
That I need to check on because they're still finalizing that, but I'll get that information to Mary Ellen.
What was the date?
The 13th? I think that's a Wednesday, I believe.
Yes.
April?
April.
Yes, April 13th.
Thank you.
At the historic 5th Street School over there on 4th. And that's pretty much all I have right now.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Marty? Okay. Item 9, report by Ronnie Fuller, Principal, Community Program Specialist, Department of Parks regarding senior activities. It was brought to my attention, as I stated at the last meeting, that the Parks and Rec folks are submitting reports, so we can hand these out to everybody, and we'll make sure that it's a copy for the city clerk's office of what's going on in the senior centers.
One, you got one extra one, maybe we need one more.
I have a whole bunch too.
Cool.
I made copies as well if you need some.
Very good, ma'am. Thank you.
So this is just an informational piece, and if there's something on here that you're interested in or participating in, please contact the center directly, because I asked Ronnie how she wanted that handled. And she asked if you would please contact the center directly to get information, or if there's a registration or whatever else. And obviously, if it's in your wards, you probably already know what's going on, but this is just for everybody's information. All right, item 10, discussion for possible action on reports given by board members regarding senior issues within their respective wards. So, we are ready for Ward 1.
Donald Delander, Ward 1, Councilwoman Rose Tarkanian. We discussed how that senior safety street went, and again, I appreciate you guys coming down, and that's what teamwork's all about. We got a little program we're going about, it's a safety issue. Instead of hitting on the senior end of the safety, we're going to do it in our ward with 13 elementary and for middle schools. For, if it doesn't materialize for kids that are out of school, safety, watch the kids running in the street. We'll do it for schools back in session in fall. One way or the other, if we have a time that we can't get it done for spring, we'll just carry it over and do it similar with kids who are back to school, safety. I have something, again, this is a cleaned up version of all the senior centers, and I coordinated it with not only senior centers, but community centers. So this is just outline. Like, for instance, Carmen has 2 senior centers in her ward. I have 2 in mine with Middle Valley. Argo's ward has 2 of them. So we can just play with this. We can add on to this. This is just kind of a rough deal. what I didn't get to, and I promised, and I'll promise in next month, there's 13 senior Southern Nevada housing authorities. Again, there's a couple of them in the county board, there's 2 in my ward, there's 3 of them in Barrow's ward. And I started with the address and everything else. Then I kind of got lost and I didn't have access to the computer down. It's hard to place them in the ward. Some of them I know, but the ones I don't, I can't place a Espinosa Terrace. Well, actually, that's in Henderson, but we really don't care because it's people. And if they're seniors and we have our expo, this is what we target on. In fact, last year I got a bus from Housing Authority, and the people in the program coordinators in the place already had used up their allotment for buses. One of them had a bus left to use, so we sent them out to Espinosa and Henderson brought them back. They're seniors, what's the difference? So, and there's one of them, the Carmen could probably tackle. You went on a tour and you know where Shade Tree is, and you know where Salvation Army. Just 1 block to the north, that's North Las Vegas, but it's called Rose Garden. It's another 170 people. So I'll get to the list next month.
Oh, great.
And that'll give you an outlook of what's in your ward per se, or darn close. There's one that's east from England now. That might be no man's land out there. It might be Clark County.
Oh, yeah.
But I have no problem with running around. I do that for the senior places anyways. So I'll get that next time. Basically, that's all I have. In Ward 1.
There is a senior center in Barlow's ward that's on Bonanza and Las Vegas Boulevard because we had a workshop there.
Well, we can pencil it in. Where is it? What's it
It's
called?
Bonanza. Do you know the name of it, Marty?
The Dula Senior Center, right there.
The what?
The Dula, D-U-L-A.
It's
Mhm.
on Bonanza and Las Vegas Boulevard.
Exactly.
So,
Dula.
Thank you.
D-U-L-A.
Right.
Dula,
Oh,
Where the swimming pool is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
how are you spelling it?
D-U-L-A.
ancient.
Okay, so this is a good start. So we need to.
Yeah, we can use that.
Yeah, and we need to like visit them and be active in them, and then that way we get the seniors' input, and then we can bring it back to the board and get it rolling. Thank you. All right. Ward 2, Councilman Beers. Vicki Skilbred was going to attempt to try to be here and make a ward report, and then she said she didn't make it. She would have me tell the board about. They're actively looking. They've got a couple of people that they're talking to, and then we'll go through the process and then visit with them about joining the board. And also, they want to invite all of us to the Coffee with Beers and the Beers with Beers. Now, everybody on the board should be getting their newsletter because I checked with her. So now you're all getting it, correct?
I have no.
Okay, good. So, and she said that would be a good opportunity for us to visit with some of the seniors in their ward. So they've got those already set up at their location, so, great. All right, Ward 3.
Ward 3 is me. I was doing something somewhat similar to what Don was doing, and I'm almost finished with my project of updating my contact list with our Ward 3 senior housing units. I've got maybe 2 people left I have to contact. I've secured email addresses for the person in charge of putting out a newsletter or a calendar, and just chit-chatting and letting them know a little bit about our board. Now, what I wanted to do was actually test that email address, send them an email, and I wanted clearance before I scanned a copy of my business card, if that's okay to do, in the absence of having, any kind of letterhead. So what I want to do is send them an email back, nice talking to you, this is me, contact me if you have any issues, and then that way I have an open line of communication to send them when we have activities that interest them in their area or are inspired, not retired.
Okay, to address that, Val, because we're given business cards, we can do that, correct?
Yeah, I would think so. I'd probably run that by the city manager's office to make sure that
Okay.
they are okay with that particular use of the business card.
Okay.
Because it's got my
Electronic, thank
personal
you.
email address on it
Yeah.
and
Well,
my
yeah, we
personal
hand-
number.
Yeah, we hand those out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably scan.
Yeah, city limits.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we'll get that handled and we'll get back with you on it. So
Okay.
that's not a problem. I can't foresee it. I agree with you, Val, but just for clarification, I'll make sure that it's being handed out electronically versus in person.
Yeah.
Okay?
Also, we kind of touched on this about touring the Corridor of Hope, and I was impressed, with what they have out there. And it was-
Is that in your ward?
I don't think so. Is it?
Ward 5.
Ward 5,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. So it is in Barlow's ward?
Yeah, okay. And, just how much time they took to spend with us to give us the tour, to explain their mission, to make us feel like home, for any questions or anything. It just kind of renewed my faith in our community. And like I said before, it sort of makes the case for the Inspired Not Retired individual workshops. Excuse me, I'm on the wrong line. I wanted to thank Marty for chauffeuring and chaperoning. I don't think we could have done it without that van, Marty.
Yeah, it came in handy, no doubt.
Right, thank you.
Yeah. That's all I have.
All right, great, thank you. We have addressed some issues. You've talked to your council.
Yes,
So-
that I wanted to pencil in too.
Now, do you want, Val, and this is, I need for clarification, we have reports by board members regarding feedback from the respective council representatives regarding responsibilities of the board. They have tackled some of the issues that we discussed with their representatives, like the member at large issue. Do you want that addressed on 11, or do you want it addressed under their reports?
11.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. All right. We are on to Ward 4.
I have nothing to report.
All right, now,
I will have something next month though.
no problem. Let's have some things going on, so for this budget here, Mel, thank you so much. All right. Ward 5 is Councilman Barlow.
I get a little something.
Okay, for what ward?
5.
Oh, 5 for Barlow.
Barlow
Okay,
ward.
gotcha. All right, we need more of those. Thank you.
Give me here.
There you go.
This is Mother Hubbard's covered. They do it every 3 months.
Thanks.
Young teacher or girl a couple of years ago, Becky Richards, her mother works at Deerfield, Stephanie Richards. Little girl got an idea. She says, I can't feed everybody in the world, but I can feed a lot of them, one can at a time. Just breaks your heart.
Yeah.
They do this every 3 months, and we're getting donations like the Barlow's Ward, and we jump in Kenya's Ward, but now they've got grant money, they got money from 3 Squares, they got a fat bank account with about 8,000 in it, so they get good stuff away. All you can carry. They run through probably 250 people every 3 months, but it is really important and really a good thing. I worked the first one with
Gene Zorn, who was the representative.
I wanted to get my feet wet, although it wasn't in my ward, but we worked it, and we had a lot of fun. I've been working it since. That's what we call, or I call, overlapping. We don't stay exactly to the line in the ward. We can always work to help people and help each other. And that's the beautiful part of our board. It's all about helping and a common goal. So that's my little report for Ward 5 for you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was going to make this statement. Joanna Oscars has resigned from the board because she's had to move to Colorado. Her daughter is ill, and she's got to take care of her 3 grandchildren, and since due to our quorum restrictions, she resigned. So we are looking for a new person in that ward, and it has been brought to my attention by Joe that he's got a couple people. I'm going to interview them with him before the end of the month, so we can move forward with that. So that's why Ron gave the report. Also, Ricky Barlow's ward would like to have information when, obviously, we're going through this process with his ward, to talk more about the involvement for this expo. So I've told him that I'm going to provide him a vendors list and all the things, the responsibilities that person will be doing, because we've got a lot of work to do between now and the event in September. So, and if any of you would be able to attend and help in this ward, I know that Councilman Barlow and his staff is going to drop by that day. Joe talked to me about it. All right. Ward 6 is Councilman Ross's, and as we've been preview to the information, They are looking to fill that Ward seat. Councilman Ross is very eager to get that seat filled since it's been vacant since Mickey Moore resigned in December due to travel arrangements because he couldn't make the quorum requirement. And therefore, we will be very excited to get information and updates. I understand that they had a huge event over the weekend. By chance, did you guys go to the Tule Springs event? Okay. And I understand it was very well attended and awesome. I figured that was the event you were referring to. So.
It wasn't, but no, that's right.
It was not well attended?
No, the event I met was an equestrian event.
Oh, okay.
Dealing about the Indiana Jones and the equestrian center they're talking about. That's when I got a chance to meet Councilman Ross.
Great. All right, so that's pretty much the information we have for Mayor Pro Tem Ross's. All right, and then we've been requested to get a report from the mayor, so I'll let Judy go first and we'll take it from there.
Okay, we actually had a meeting scheduled after this meeting to meet with the mayor. Mary Ellen and I have not met with the mayor since I was appointed, and I would like to find out from her, because we're at large, Mary Ellen and I, what exactly does she require of me or expect of me on this board?
And that will go under item 11, so you can further go into that.
Okay.
At this point, we just want to talk about what she's having you and I do on the board.
Well, I don't know at this
Okay.
point. The other thing is, I don't know if this is the right place, but we did go to Catholic Charities, thanks to Marty, and I got brochures for each person, even though we're kind of talking to the choir here, but these are the senior services. You know what, I don't think I have.
I have one, so we do need to give it, we will need to give it to the city clerk, so they have it on file.
And that was excellent.
Okay. All right, my report from the mayor is that she will be welcoming everybody at the expo on September, that we're going to be having our Inspired Retired. She will do the opening like she did last year on the 15th. She has asked for a list of speakers and the vendors, just like we provided last year, and we're working on that. Her input as far as the speakers and some of the things we're doing. We have confirmed Pat Spearman, who is an assemblywoman, that will be following her. We have confirmed Toro University will be coming again with the mobile unit. And so she just wants to, be kept up on it, because she thought that the event that we did last year was awesome, very well done, and she totally supports it, so she wants to be kept up on that. As far as in general what the ward's doing with seniors, she has asked Judy and I, when we go to these events, if we want to submit something handwritten, written in a written report, or if we want to just give it like we're doing it, whatever, because we want to do is up to us. So if there's anything specific that you have questions from the mayor, please, bring it up, because Judy and I will take it to her, just like we have to request about what we need to do for your card and who we refer to. So anything that requires that, we'll do. All right. All right, we're on to item 11, reports by board members regarding feedback from their respective council representatives regarding responsibilities of the senior citizens, board members, and the board in general. Okay, Judy, go ahead. You started off, so go ahead.
Did you finally notice there's two different agendas?
Yes. Totally confused. Okay.
Two different.
This is not my agenda.
Oh, you don't have the current agenda?
It's dated April 7th, but it's in a different typeface and everything.
And it
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
have as many.
Okay. Well, then we need to make sure you have the right agenda. Do you have it? Yeah? Okay, thank you.
So, for lack of a report telling you that, we had, to reiterate, we had a meeting scheduled with the mayor to find out from her. I would like to know what my responsibility is. I'd like direction. from the mayor on what my responsibility is sitting on this board. It's easier if you're in a ward than to be at large like this, and what does she want from me? And so that's, I have nothing to report because the meeting was canceled.
It's postponed, it's going to be
Postponed.
after the next board meeting.
So it was canceled for today. And so I probably won't have a report next time either.
Well, you can contact her via email, so if you have some questions and some specific things.
No, I would like to sit down with her like everyone else has done with their wards.
Right.
And find out what she feels, what she wants, and sees my role as.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay, Connie.
And I reached out to Councilman Coffin's office regarding our situation or our suggestion of appointing a member at large, and he was cool with it. He will do that, sponsor the, what do you call it?
Oh, so he wants to do the ordinance?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly. So, and they were real quick to reply, so
Okay.
just let me know what you want me to do next. Let her know.
Okay, well, that's Co-Chair Overlander's venue and request, so I would suggest that the two of you work out the language, and then that way it's taken care of with that. So, because the next step, if I understand correctly, Val, is it goes to the council and then he sponsors the ordinance?
Right. He signs off on a document saying he'll sponsor an ordinance.
Okay, so how do we word that for the agenda for May?
I guess I don't know what the question is.
The question is, if he's going to be sponsoring an ordinance for the member at large, as we discussed at our last board meeting.
When you say member at large, are you talking about an alternate? Is that what you mean? That they're a member at large?
The idea, my thought process was that we were sometimes really hurting for a quorum. And I just happened to be in other organizations. If they point, by whomever, we'll get to that in a second, a member at large, that member can be an inactive member until he's called to duty when there's a quorum issue, when we might be too lean to even have a meeting. So that person could come to the meetings, could take part in the events, help in any way, would be a kind of non-voting member until activated.
That sounds like an alternate rather than a large.
Yeah.
A large to me means not representing a ward.
Right,
So
and
you
that's what he
need
wanted.
somebody to fill in when somebody's not available.
Yeah, the language, I just came up with that member at large, but then when
Right.
you say at large, I know what you mean now. You know, they're not a ward representative, so that I got no problem changing language, whatever you want to call it. Show up, they guy, what I don't know, but that was the thought process.
The minutes, just so since we've got it from the minutes. Member Orlander would like an additional board member to serve as a member at large for the purpose of forming a quorum. He thought they could attend all the meetings, obviously that would be given, and called upon as part of the quorum when someone was not here to vote. Chief Deputy City Attorney at Valsky believed that the open meeting law would allow that, but the city ordinance that is an authorizing document for this board would have to be amended. Member Overlander wondered if the board should approach their council person for input, which people have done. Chief Deputy City Attorney Steve explained that any council person could sponsor an ordinance and suggest that this item be placed on a future agenda for further discussion.
Okay. Yeah, let's put something on an agenda to talk about that, because I'm still a little fuzzy on the concept. And
Okay?
I'm sure Councilman Coffin is as well.
Okay, would you recommend that Councilman Coffin come to our next board meeting?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, so we're okay with that. Okay. Okay, so the direction then would still be the two of you get your language, talk to Councilman Coffin, since he's agreed to sponsor it. The other wards will need to be made aware of it, so Mel, you're going to need to talk to Councilman Stravos about it. I will take care of the vacancy in the wards. We will just need to figure out what's going on and then put it on the agenda so we can do it. And we already have somebody that's agreed to sponsor it. So, okay. All right, what else do we have as far as, let's go back to the agenda here, about reports from the board, about responsibilities of the board and the board in general. All right, the board in general, the reason that language is because it was suggested by Val, which I think is good, that we make our, when we make our agendas, that we do them general enough, and I apologize because I have it, here it is. Chief Deputy City Attorney Steve suggested placing items on future agendas in an order going from specific items to general makes it easier to do on the agenda. So when we were working with the city staff on this in general, it came up about teleconferencing. And we've got a information piece for clarification. If a quorum is not met, it has been up for discussion evidently on other boards about if teleconferencing, calling in to make a quorum is acceptable. Ward 6 has confirmed, and I followed up with the city clerk's office, that teleconferencing is available to all members and all boards as needed. Teleconferencing is made available to all boards on an as-needed basis. So in order to make quorum, we have to have 5 or more, people. So if somebody is not able to make a board meeting for reasons that we have not had defined yet, that is going to be something that we're going to have in process for May. And I need to have, for clarification purposes, because I want to make sure that this is, right, moving forward for board members of all boards to be furnished with written instructions on how to access the conference call and instructions for backup documentation, etc., required by and provided by the city clerk's office in accordance with the open meeting law. It was brought to my attention by Member Hankin that he asked for this a couple of years ago, and if you could please share with us what you were told, because it has since changed.
That's true. In fact, there's been about 4 or 5 times in the past where I missed a meeting because I was in the hospital twice, and it was never offered to me and said it wasn't possible.
I think the issue is that the clerk's office does it when it's necessary to reach a quorum. If there's a board that can't reach a quorum every month, I don't think the clerk is going to make that available universally to everybody.
Okay.
It's done on an as-needed basis, particularly for the council when they have trouble with getting a quorum. So the clerk's office may offer that regularly. They may just say it's only in certain circumstances. I don't know what the parameters would be. I can tell you that very rarely do boards teleconference in.
Okay.
And when they do, it's only one member.
Okay. All right, with that information given, then, for the record, because Angela, just so you know, I was told that we have to make sure that this is in the records because the city clerk said sometimes things are paraphrased, and if it's important, we need to make sure it's for the record. Moving forward, beginning with all May meetings, all board members on all boards will be furnished written instructions on how to access the conference call and instructions for backup documentation, etc., required by and provided by the city clerk's office in accordance with the open meeting law. Now, if I understand that correctly from what I just heard, then that means that on a regular basis, people cannot call in. And I would like that also noted in...
Well, I don't know what that means. I
Correct.
have no idea what that
Right, we don't know.
means.
And we don't wanna
But what you
have an
need to
issue.
do is you need to talk to the clerk's office on an individual basis and find out when it's available and when it's not.
Right, and we want it written so it's for
Well-
everybody, because all the board needs to know.
I don't know
that.
what you're talking about written.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would suggest that you do speak with the city clerk, Luann Holmes. There are no written instructions. If we need to call a member, we call the member with that telephone, and we'll put him on, hands-free, and he follow the meeting with that person is at.
Okay, so that's for one board member. What if you have more than one board member that won't be making the meeting?
I think we don't do it more than 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, we do have another type of equipment.
So
But
we can
again, I would
have...
suggest that you
Okay,
actually speak.
well, I understand, but the board has requested this.
I And I understand.
What do you mean the board is requesting?
Okay, go
this?
ahead, speak up.
Well, Judy Vandiver, I would like to know what the parameters are. I came to the meeting with a boot on my foot and walked, and I wasn't supposed to, okay? Because of coming to the meeting and meeting a quorum. Mary Ellen went and picked Mel up today out of her way so that we would have quorum. I would like to know, could Mel have called in? Could I have called in? Because I was under doctor's orders not to be here, and I came. So I really need to know
Okay.
when I'm allowed and when I'm not allowed to use this tool.
Yeah, the clerk may or may not have something that they can offer. Like I say, a lot of boards don't have meetings because they can't reach quorums. And what they end up doing is they end up finding people who can attend on a regular basis. It's also a function of how often a board meets and how much business the board has. It's all variable. So I don't think you're going to get something from the clerk's office that says, for every single board, here are the rules. It's going to be a function of what the board does, how many people there are, et cetera, et cetera.
So I understand, if I understand correctly, that there's nothing written, and it's done on basis of board by board.
As of today, that may change tomorrow.
Okay, right.
That may change
Right.
tomorrow, but as of today, I understand there's nothing written.
Okay, and so, and if I heard you correctly, then it is at the request that we find people that can attend the meetings without having to go through this process.
That's what every council wants every board to be able to do, is
Okay.
have meetings with quorums.
Present.
That's the idea.
Okay,
That's always the idea.
okay. Just need to know what rules we've got and what the guidelines are.
Because the city council members will tell you this, when they call in telephonically, it's difficult for them because they don't have face-to-face.
Oh, it's really-
They don't have documents, et cetera, et cetera. So it's almost always on a kind of an emergency basis where that's the only way that the meeting can happen.
Okay, so the process is not for a normal month-to-month fee, so it's only on emergencies. Okay, well, I'm glad we've got that clarification, because the council members will be made aware of that, so everybody's on the same page.
Okay, can I ask?
Go ahead.
Okay, I guess just for clarification of myself, this is personal, but my daughter has 3 disabilities, including MS, and is very, very ill. And I never know when I get up in the morning whether I have to go take care of her. Sometimes she can't move her hands. Okay. Will we be given a process that if Kimberly is very ill, and it was important for me to be here, or maybe we were short for quorum, because it's really hard to make quorum sometimes. In other words, I need some direction on how I handle this if
Okay, that's
I
fair.
get a call.
That's fair. It's not really a legal issue other than there has to be a quorum, but it's a logistical issue
Right.
that the clerk's office and the city manager will work through, just like everything that we're doing with all the boards.
Okay.
Right.
But I want you to be real clear, so it's an emergency basis, it's not a regular board member.
Right, but don't hold me to that word, because in your mind, emergency means something different.
Right,
than
correct.
it does to you, so I
understand.
Please don't ask me to make a ruling here that you either can or can't use. I have no
Correct.
idea.
Okay.
I have no
Correct.
idea.
And we just obviously now know there's nothing written, but we do know that the process is in place, but it's as emergency basis, not on a regular board meeting basis, and people are encouraged and need to be at quorum at City Hall and present at the meetings.
Right.
Got it.
Okay, I hate to belabor this, but if I get up in the morning and I get a call, do I then, is there a process in place that then I would call a specific person and I would need that number? I mean, I'm still not
I think
clear about.
most boards work through their staff people.
Okay,
So I know the council, at the council level, they would call the clerk's office. At the Traffic and Parking Commission, they would call the traffic department saying, we got a meeting today, I can't make it. And whatever happens after that communication, I have no idea. But that seems like the normal. Does that sound about right? Okay.
So Marty, is there any process that you have for conference call, telephone Do you
I
have a
would
process
think you
with the
would
number
want
and-
to contact me,
You-
and
okay.
then I would contact
That
the
gives me
clerk's
direction.
office
Okay.
to, because we're going to have to secure a bridge line, and then I would have to give you a number that you would call in,
Or we can call.
or they could call you. They're
Right,
more
because
efficient.
she mentioned the phones are
Right.
here. So so it's not an actual teleconferencing where we have to do a call-in with a number.
No, the clerk's office normally
Got
contacts
it.
the people.
Okay.
They reach out to you. I do it reverse in my
Right.
department, my
And
telecom.
also, when people have been able to, go ahead. what
We
you
can do it
said.
either way.
Right.
It's just
And people have
optional.
called me, like now, told me he didn't have a car. So, we work with it, but the concept here is we meet together as a board, physically in this room, to do our business and our activities every month. So there is direction, and we've gotten it cleared, and we understand that this is not something that's out of line, this is the way the board's run. Okay. All right, Don, what do you have?
Madam Chair, may I
Yes.
just say something?
Yes.
That is only in case a quorum needs to be established.
Right, we need 5 or more. In this case, our board is 8.
Okay. So we need 5 members. And member Vanderbilt happens to be the 5th, then we will call.
Okay,
Understand. Thank you.
okay.
Well, I can understand, I get it. I understand where emergencies come up and things happen. But, our primary responsibility when we take on this board is to try our utmost to show up and do our job respectively.
Right.
And I get a big problem if it doesn't run smoothly. We're achieving goals, we're running a good board, we're accomplishing a lot. Sure, we're in the infancy stage, but it's come a long way under the guidance of Mary Ellen. And I hate to see it go backwards and have this conference call. Maybe one person, maybe 2 people. Wait a second here. What if 3 people call? What if 4? Whatever. Where's it going to end? And what's the legality of that? Are we going to discriminate one person who calls and that person can be on the phone on the conference? It's getting a little hairy here. And I'm so strongly against it. You take on responsibilities, show up for the job.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming from.
Member Bates, we've had no shortage of emergencies last year. I'm surprised this is just coming up now, that this was available. But we were fortunate, we had our full board, and we never were in danger of meeting quorum. So I didn't even know if it was available.
Let me just get back up a minute. That's how quickly things can happen.
Yeah.
The 3 people that we lost due to
Right.
different circumstances, of course, but that can diminish the board in a heartbeat. Heaven forbid, but that's the way it goes. We didn't have a problem. Maybe we won't have for 3 years. Next year we might have 5 people. So we got set a little precedence here how it's going to be handled. I concur with that.
Okay. All right, great. Anybody else have anything else they would like to add? All right. Item 12, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items by the board. Comments made during this portion of the agenda made by individual members shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items, and any discussion shall be limited to whether or not such proposed items are written within the preview of the board and/or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur and no action shall be taken. So we need to go over the items for the agenda for May's meeting, keeping in mind what Val, our attorney, has suggested, that we keep them broad enough and keep
Well-
things general.
Well, no, the suggestion was that when the agenda is finally put together,
Yes.
Marty and the clerk's office will work together to push the general ones to the back.
Oh, okay. So
It
you would
wasn't,
like those
it
at the
wasn't
bottom?
that, it wasn't a limitation on your agenda items.
Okay.
It's the way it was ordered.
Okay,
And that has nothing to do with the board, really.
okay.
Marty and the clerk's office will make sure that happens.
And does this agenda look in line with what you
Yes,
suggested?
yes, the
Okay.
only, the thing that we ran into was a little bit of overlap between 10 and 11, but that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, good, thank you. All right, so I have noted on all the information about the grants. If there's anything that we need, do we need to go over that again, Angela, or are we okay because that's already been brought up, that that's going to be on the next agenda, or do we need to
You can restate it.
we can restate it, okay?
I mean, I think Monday will put that on the agenda.
Right, right. Okay. What else for May's agenda?
The stationary issue.
Okay?
And I got a question here. I don't know how this could appear in the general. I don't know on the agenda or it even could, but I think we have to look at, I don't know where it could be placed on the agenda. I think we have to look at our bylaws a little bit closer, and maybe there might be an amendment or two that needs changing. So how do we get to that on that agenda so we can have a general discussion on our bylaws?
That's exactly how we word it. Discussion of bylaws, correct, Al?
Sure. I assume you want to talk about possible changes to bylaws rather than just discussing them. Does that sound right?
Possible changes, yes, because we need to word it that way in case we vote on it.
Well, let's get all on the same page and go through them, and we'll see what needs to be amended or not.
Yeah. Just keep in mind when you do that, though, that your power comes from the ordinance,
Right.
not from the bylaws. The bylaws are the housekeeping items, but they're not what give you power. So if you want to have a discussion about changing the bylaws to give you power, that won't happen.
Right. We have to be in ordinance with the bill number 2015 for the ordinance, correct? So you'd like possible change, how would you like the bylaws, how would you want that worded?
Well, discussion on clarification of our bylaws.
Okay?
I mean, again, this is hypothetical at this point. We might see something in there that will stand right out at us and needs that attention. And of course, then we have to play with the rules, you know.
No problem.
And we might go through the whole thing and they're okay to stand. But I think periodically, I go in other organizations, that's an annual deal. Once a year you go through it.
Okay.
You make your.
Yeah, and this board has not done that since the new ones have come on in July, correct? Okay, that's great, okay. All right, what else for our agenda for May?
Well, Judy Vanderbilt.
Go ahead.
I'm not quite sure how to word this, but I would like to open for discussion if people would like me to coordinate future education of the board. Going to Catholic Charities, having the transportation people come. I would like us to continue that.
So why don't we have the RTC come?
Yes, when we have the RTC
And the only reason
come.
that has been put on hold, just for clarification, is because we're waiting for the 3 new board members, because we're going to
That's
schedule
good.
everything
Yeah.
between the next 3 months to do all that work.
Right.
So that's why it's been put
But
on.
I would like to, I know for myself, I would like to be better informed. And I'm not even sure what direction to go in with this. And that's why I'd like to put it on the agenda so we can all discuss it. And where do we need to maybe learn more so we can better be there for our seniors?
So what services are available?
No, further education, ideas on further education of the
Okay.
board. And I would be glad to coordinate that with direction from the board on what we would like to
Okay.
do.
All right.
Co-signing what Member Vandenberg said, Member Page. Going to Catholic Charities, that Court of Hope almost should be an annual thing. You know, I mean, things change down there, I'm sure, and then with the redesign of Four Master Lane, I think we should be knowing what's going on down there.
Okay.
I do have one thing to add on the agenda. We were at the senior safety screen, and you mentioned about Facebook.
Well, actually, that came from Christy Garnis,
Right.
who, what is her title exactly?
Events coordinator?
Coordinator for the city of Las
I
Vegas.
think so.
The city of Las Vegas, and please correct me, the folks that work there, I guess Facebook is very active as part of getting people to know more about your board, more about events, etc. And Christy Garnis, asked to on our board, is a member of Facebook, and Carmen is. So there you go.
What? Get with
She asked you to
Christie?
make a
Get with
page.
Christie? I mean, should I? I mean, I don't know how far to go, you know, it's just.
Well, what she suggests you is you would create a special page.
Okay.
And I don't know how Facebook works because I don't do it. But what she said is you create your own page for the Senior Citizen Advisory Board, and then you would update it and give them, information about the events.
Okay.
It is not your personal Facebook.
Correct.
Because according to the city, personal Facebook's one thing,
Oh,
the
yeah.
other's the other. So we want it the same venue. We do not want your personal Facebook being the city of Las Vegas. Seems
Well,
to-
you're gonna want to get permission
Okay,
to establish a Facebook page for the board.
thank you. And who do we need to get that?
I imagine the manager's office, I'm
Again?
guessing.
I would think the Public Information
Well,
Office, David
well,
Riggleman.
Jason.
Well,
Through, the first level would be city manager,
Yeah.
and then it would flow down, if approved, to David Riggleman.
So when I contact Betsy about the cards, I will bring that up and ask for direction. I will copy you on it, Marty, so you know,
Mhm.
and Carmen, and then we'll take it from there.
Right. But we're going to put that on as an agenda item for
Yes.
May. Okay. So
Yes,
that's a
we'll have to have a
discussion and
follow-up on it.
possible action.
Because what it'll be is if I can word it that way, it will be clarification on business card electronically, Facebook, which is electronic. Is there a wording for that we use?
Social media?
Is that what it is, social media?
That's the general term, social
Okay,
media.
thank you. All right, that's what we'll do.
Because Christy mentioned Facebook and Twitter, and I don't tweet, but, it's not far from, me doing that, but
Okay,
we'll see. But Facebook for sure, I think.
okay. All right, great. Okay, what else? Is there anything else? You okay?
Okay, waiting for the next.
For the next item? All right, we're on. We're going to the next one, sir.
Mary Ellen?
Yes, sir.
Let me just suggest, not necessarily for May, maybe you'd want to wait until you have a full board again, but we probably should have a refresher on open meeting law issues.
Okay.
The last time we did that was in 2014, and Mary Ellen and Dawn and Mel were here, and I think that's all. So it would be
Right.
good for us to talk about that.
We have talked about our board development, and Patsy McPadden has agreed to work with us on that. Would that be something, because I know Luann and people from the clerk's office came and talked to us about it. Is that an appropriate time, or do you want it actually at a meeting?
No, I'm talking about me explaining to you what your obligations
Gotcha.
are under the open meeting law, what
Gotcha.
you can do and what you can't do.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, so that will be taken under, we're planning on having a full board, I would hope by June.
Okay.
That would be what we're looking at, so. And then in June, that will be a very important meeting for us to be at and get all that information. Okay, gotcha. All right, open meeting law. Okay, all right. All right, we're moving on to item 13, citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the board. No subject may be acted upon by the board unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please give your name for the record, the amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed and may be limited. Well, we only have 2 people here from the public, so we're ready.
Donnie Beeson. Well, first of all, Mary Ellen, thank you very much for inviting me. This has been very informative and very helpful since my first introduction was through Councilman Ross's office. It's nice to be able to see the lay of the land. It's been a long time since I've heard the home and CDBG program because I used to run those in the state of Arizona. It's very interesting. So you put a smile on my face, so thank you very much. Brings me back to the old days. However, regretfully, based on the spirited conversation on item 11, I will not be able to adhere to the attendance that is expected, regrettably so, and I will be reporting back to Councilman Ross with my condolences. And I hope as progress goes further, as telecommunications, video communications expand into these type of things, I have a great deal of experience with that, for not only participating across the world for corporate America, but also setting up those type of facilities. I hope someday to be part of that. My wife and I will be part-time residents here in the city of Las Vegas as long as the city of Las Vegas will have us. And so far, it's been a very, very good partnership. We will be retreating to our wonderful home in the mountains of Colorado, and I will be keeping in touch. And I wish you all the best of success with your boards and your action items going forward, because the city of Las Vegas is going to go through some changes from what I see from meeting with the economic development folks with North Las Vegas. And it's going to be a very interesting time for the next 2 to 3, 4, 5 years. So I wish you all just the best of everything.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time, both you and your wife, to come and visit with us. And if you are in the neighborhood and you ever want to come to a meeting or an event, just let us know. You're more than welcome, obviously.
Mary Ellen, you
Thank
can,
so much.
you can count on that.
Okay.
This is something I love to participate in, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? Debbie, did you have anything to say? No. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very
You
much.
have a great day and have a safe travel.
Take care.
Sorry, Marty.
sorry.
That's okay. I just need to know if there's something we need to.
No, there's a gentleman I used to work with in
Oh,
federal
okay.
HUD, and
Thank you.
And he said he did those programs, so he had to know him.
Oh, yes, yes.
All right.
Thank you again for
Thank you very much. It's nice to meet you
Nice
both.
meeting you both.
All right. With that, I would like to call for an adjournment. Please.
So be it.
All right. Motion made by Mel Hankin to adjourn.
I'll second if we
So
need a
moved.
second, I'm not sure.
All right. All those, we're going. Thank you so much, and thank you again for all the time. And really, on behalf of the board, the three people sitting over there, thank you for your time, your expertise, and your guidance, because I realize that rules and regulations are in line for a reason. And if I ask you for your advice and your help, and you've been very willing to give it, and I don't want to ever put, like I'm saying this off the record, you in an awkward position, but because we have rules and regulations, I understand the validity of that and the importance of it, and I appreciate you coming forward and answering our questions. Thank you.